Thanks everyone for joining me. This is April with your photo travel guide and the Travel Collective. We're heading towards the end of the year where it's fun to think about places we did visit, places we didn't visit, and what's up for 2025. And Lonely Planet has released this year for the first time its travel trends list, which I like to look at some of those lists. It's fun to kind of see what's on it, what's not on it. And the travel trends list kind of got my attention because they mentioned train journey. So I'm happy to have Nikki Page joining me. She's the author of Colorado is Calling, a brand new book that you can pick up all about Colorado. And we were just chatting. There's a lot of great train journeys in Colorado. So welcome, Nikki.
Thank you for having me, April.
Yes. And you have a great love of Colorado. You're living there now. You have had family born and raised there. So Colorado truly calls to you.
Oh, yes, it absolutely does. So this is actually the latest book. So if you haven't seen it or gotten a copy, it's available in Barnes& and Noble and at Amazon.com. It's really kind of nice to be back in Colorado and be able to experience the things that I was able to do while I was younger and some of the new things that I've done now that I'm older. And so, yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah, and train journeys. I know we were just talking about it. We've both done a kind of a mix of what's available. I think Colorado is an amazing state. It has some historic train journeys. It has journeys that are, I think, like some of the highest peaks. So share one of the train journeys that we were just chatting about a little bit.
So we were just talking about the book, and in the book, actually, I was writing about, and you can see the cog that is in Colorado Springs. So, so those are the train cars that of going up, and it's in the same parking lot as the incline. So if you haven't been to either one of those down there in Colorado Springs, I highly recommend checking it out. So the cog is actually it runs up to like the top of the Pikes Peak area. And one of the things I don't know when we were talking that I didn't tell you is that make sure you have blankets and warm clothes. Um,
Oh,
because we had actually pulled in when we took my kids. I had done it when I was little. And then when we came back from a trip in Texas one summer, we had just pulled in and it was like probably like 95 degrees. And we jump out and everybody's in their tank tops and shorts. And I'm like, well, let's get on the train, everybody, and load all
yeah.
four kids up, we're gonna have this fun ride. And about halfway up, we all started going, okay. And I started watching the kids as they're like cuddling up, and I'm like, the very expensive souvenir blanket that was bought up at the top of the cog was not because we really wanted another blanket, but because we really needed another blanket to make it back down. Because you're going up to the tip where there's, you're past the tree line. Not a lot
And
of oxygen, and even in
yeah.
Colorado, it gets cold up there in July.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's goes up the top of Pikes Peak. So isn't Pikes Peak one of the 14ers as they refer to them in
Y-
Colorado?
Yes, and so it goes up to the top of that area, and it is one of the biggest mountains in our area, which is really it's just stunning. If you've never seen it, I mean, it's breathtaking to just step back and then to get on the train and ride up through it. And when you get to the top, you can actually go from the train station and hike up to the top part of the mountain, which you can oversee like the most incredible views up there. So you can oversee like everything. It's like you're standing on top of the world.
Yeah, but like you said, even in July in Colorado, you go up to the top of one of these mountains, it can be really cold, it can be
It,
windy. It's like there might even still be snow sitting around.
yes, actually, I believe it was in July, and I believe that one of my children found some snow still up there, and it was extremely chilly. I wouldn't say cold, but I would say it was chilly enough that we shouldn't have been in tank tops.
Right.
You know.
But it is an amazing thing that they put this rail line up the side of a mountain. I think that alone makes it really worthy if you haven't done it. It's historic, it's unique. There's not a lot of these in the world. I think you mentioned when you were researching for the book, it's the highest one. I think it goes up.
It's the It is the highest. Actually, I believe that's the Royal Gorge because the Royal Gorge Bridge is the highest.
Oh, okay.
Now hold on, I could be wrong. I could be wrong in here. Let me look real quick. I believe, yeah,
Yeah,
it might actually be the highest train that you
it
can go
might
up
be because
on.
I know there is a cog out in New England, but I'm guessing I think the Colorado one might be higher just because
I
the
believe it
mountains
is
are
higher.
higher. Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we looked that up before we started looking. Well, I pulled it up in the book, and yes, I believe it's the highest one. So, and I can tell you, you'll feel the change in altitude as you're going up. So, drink lots of water, stay hydrated.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Yeah. And one of the other trains I thought was interesting is the Royal Gorge at the Royal Gorge Park. I remember seeing the suspension bridge and then going down to the bottom of the gorge and seeing these railroad tracks and just being like, "Wait, there's a train that goes through here." So I had to just look it up right now. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, and that one actually, so that is the highest suspended bridge in the world, which is at 954 feet. And then right next to it's like a walk as you're coming into the park, where I think you take the tram down, and then there's the train area down on the bottom of it also. So it's a gorgeous bridge, I mean, gorgeous views. So another breathtaking spot in Colorado.
Right, and to take the train, because the train literally goes through that canyon and it's right next to the river. I can only imagine I mean, again, just what an experience. And I did go to their website. I think it's just Royal Gorge Railroad. We'll put it in the show notes. But what a great idea for doing something different with your family instead of, for a holiday, a weekend meal or brunch, spending time with your family on a train, actually having conversation and looking right out the window. I mean, you'll create those memories that you aren't going to just create anywhere. And it's nearby, it's not far. So,
Yes. So, and I think it's a unique way to see the world. Getting on trains and being able to see it as you're not driving and buzzing by other traffic and things like that. It's a unique way to kind of view things. So, and I'm not the conductor, so that allows me to be able to take photos.
right, exactly. And I know we also were just chatting about, you mentioned that you can take a train up to some of the ski areas.
So my daughter actually, when they were younger, they would get the Winter Park train, and they would ride up the train on Winter Park, and they'd start down in the Denver area, and it winds all through, and then lands them up at the ski resort. So then she would go up and do her day of skiing, and then take the train back down in the evening.
And that sounds like really what a great way do the train instead of trying to drive up an icy, snowy road and then after you've skied all day. Wouldn't it be better just to get on the train and let's again have a hot chocolate?
Exactly.
Let someone else do the driving. And I think you mentioned it was still pretty affordable. It wasn't very
So
expensive.
really quickly, when I was just on their website, it looked like it was about 19 to about $39 a ticket. And so I just pulled up their website real quick, and that was kind of what came up on the front page. So I know that she used to, and I know that some of it depends on what you buy and where you are in your cabin and what train you're on and what time of day also. But I know that that was one of the coolest things that she did. Like every year, she's like, it's about train time. It's about time for me to go up and go skiing. And so I think she had more fun actually on the train than the ski lessons that we sent her to attend. Um,
Yeah, I think that'd be me. It's like the train and sitting in the lodge. I don't need to ski down the slope anymore.
mhm. I want to do it's on my bucket list to do a cross country, to go from one tip clear to the other tip, which would
I
be
do
something
too. I
really,
think
really cool.
there's some really nice train journeys out there. And again, that whole idea of like, get on the train, you don't have to like unpack, maybe have a little sleeper car or maybe not, or, do some research on that. But the other train trip that I like to do in autumn, and I'm sure it's beautiful other times of year, is the Durango Silverton train. And if you go down to Durango, which I'm sure Nikki has in her book, it's just a cool, funky town in the south. It's kind of in the southwest corner of Colorado. And the train takes you up to Silverton, which is this old mining town. And you can do that. It's a full day to take the train. But again, lots of great views out the window with your camera and let someone else do the driving.
And Silverton is just it's a really special little place. It very kind of laid back. I would say it's laid back. Would you say it's
Yes,
laid back?
yeah.
Very very laid back. It's you could spend the whole day. You could probably spend maybe 2 days up there if you get into really researching and looking at some of the historical spots,
Yes.
because I believe they have a lot of history spots up there also.
They do have a lot of historic buildings and spots, and there's a lot of artisans that still live up there. But I think it kind of, in a way, I know they run the trains in winter, but I'm not sure they go all the way to Silverton even in the winter. But they also, for photographers, they have special photography trains where they'll actually stop the train along the route, which sounds fabulous. I
Really?
haven't been
That
able to
sounds
do it yet. Yeah. And then you can get out, so you get the curve of the canyon, you get the train, you get the steam because they use the old steam engines.
that sounds like an amazing day. I mean, and I bet you really like that because you like to take photos also.
Yeah.
So you spend a whole day just taking photos of the train.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do that on the regular train too. Just make sure, with any train journey, there's different price points. And if you're a photographer, look for the open cars where you can actually kind of lean out a little bit they don't have windows. It's just open, which it can get cold. Dress for it, bring your layers, but it's so worth it if you want to take pictures.
Hmm. How cool. So, and there's a lot to see, I think, when you're on the trains going up through the mountains and to the little areas.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of these trains, like the Winter Park Express, the Royal Gorge, Durango, Silverton, Colorado Springs, even, they probably have sometimes they do special kids trains or days for the kids and photo ops. So a lot of opportunities as we move towards, holidays and family time to do something different with your family, go for brunch or, get a meal on the train even. So,
Yeah, and if you're looking, I know that they have the Amtrak trains that also come through Denver. So if you're looking to be able to travel from someplace coming into Denver, that would be another cool way to be able to see the landscape and the surroundings as you're coming in through. And then you can honestly then go back up through the mountains and stuff. It looked like the other day when I was on there looking at quite a few different ways we could go. I was like, well, which way do we want to go first?
yeah, right. And then Denver, DIA is one of the few airports that actually has the train right there that you can take right down into downtown Denver.
Downtown Denver. Yep, you can get right off the train and you can hop right onto the train line, which will pull you right into the middle of downtown Denver. So you don't even really have to worry about calling a taxi or an Uber.
Yeah, what a great way to travel and explore Colorado. So I think a lot of great
Hmm.
options to, if you're wanting to go to Colorado in winter and you're like concerned about the driving, I mean, fly into DIA and then get on the train and connect to another train. And there you go.
Exactly.
So tell everyone, Nikki, about where to find your book, and if they have questions about Colorado and want to ask more, or hey, just pick up the book. There's so many great ideas in there.
Oh, there is. So the book you can actually get, like I said, at Amazon.com and on Barnes and Noble. They've got them. And then the paperbacks also, we've got hardcovers that are being stocked like as we speak. So which is kind of
Nice.
exciting. And
Yeah.
the cool part about just to share a little bit, we hired local photographers to come through. So the book is full of photography. So you're able to kind of plan out your trip and kind of see what's going on before you actually venture down into Colorado. And you can pick it up also on my website at vivapurpose.com. And on the same website, if you go into About the Authors, there's a page for me, and you can shoot me a message if you have any questions or anything like that. I love to connect with people. So, yeah, feel free to shoot me questions. And we're just really excited. Me and my publisher are really excited to get the book out and kind of get it into travelers' hands so that they can see the beauty that I've been able to see over the last handful of years.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, and explore Colorado because I think it really is a state with a lot of opportunities. Everyone kind of thinks about the mountains, but there's so many other landscapes to explore in Colorado.
Oh yeah, and to get out on the Eastern Plains, I talk about things to do on the Eastern Plains and some of the historical sites, both on the plains and in the local towns and stuff. So I talk about all. I kind of give you the hidden gems too. Even give my father's fishing hole away.
Oh, oh no. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, his honey spot. Yep, I sure did. So it's in the book. So we'll see what he thinks about that when he reads it. But
Right. We'll see how
he'll be
crowded
like,
it gets.
we'll see how crowded it is next year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, there's an
but
incentive. So whether
it,
you're a hiker, a photographer, or a fisher, you got to pick up Nikki's book. Colorado is Calling. It's fabulous.
yes, thank you. So, and enjoy your travels. Everybody have safe travels for the upcoming year.
Thank you so much, Nikki, and Happy New Year to everyone too if they're watching this at the end of the year. Thanks.